This segment is brought to you by A.J. Doman Chevrolet. We say yes when others say no.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. We appreciate it very, very much. And you know, we got so many wonderful things here in South Louisiana that people don't always realize that we have some of the best research and some of the best teams doing that research right here in our own backyard. We welcome back to the show Dr. Brian J. Roberts. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
All right. Brian is the Executive Director and Chief Scientist down at LUMCON, which is just, it's one of those jewels that we have down in Cocodrie that people just don't always realize, but we also have this Houma campus as well.
Correct. Yeah, just in December of 23, we had the ribbon cutting for this new campus, a chance to expand, to be on a campus that's shared with the community college system.
Right.
Fletcher has a building right there, and it's in the middle of the Maritime Industrial Complex, which is a really nice place for us to be, a little more connected to the community. It's great to get away to Cocodrie, but it is a little bit of a distance to get there.
Right, right. And so being right here in Houma, we're very glad that y'all are here and part of that group. But we got a great opportunity for people to meet the fleet. Tell us a little bit about how this came to be.
Yeah, so we've been doing open houses down in Cocodrie for as long as I've been at LUMCON, which is almost 18 years. And we wanted to do something a little bit different and highlight this new campus that we have and give people a chance to see all the things that we have going on there and highlight some of the research and education programs that we have. Yeah. So we're going to bring the RV Pelican and the RV Acadiana, as well as most of our small boats up there for people able to see them. We're even going to have a touch a boat and touch an RV, our ROV there, and people are going to be able to tour the boats. But we're also going to have lots of exhibits and displays of different science labs and some education activities and a variety of different programs that we're going to have during the day.
Okay. And so, again, if you want to meet the fleet, it's going to take place on May 3rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it's going to be at Blue Works. Right, which is where you guys are. And again, it's on the Houma Maritime Campus, 335 Dixon Road in Houma. There's a QR code right there if you want to get more information about it. But you want to make sure that you can celebrate LUMCON's expansion and their collaboration, their research program highlights, hands-on activities, so many different things. Let's talk about what they can experience when they're there.
Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of things for ranging from people of all ages to get into things. You know, we'll have some story time and some coloring stations that are there for young kids to get things. We'll have a variety of different workshops, one on plankton, one on landers, things on ocean pressure, and then they'll have a plankton lab set up in between those workshops where people can get in using microscopes and look at plankton. Then we're going to have Build the Boat Challenge. We're going to have 2 sessions of that where children of all ages, hopefully, you know, supervised by an adult is going to be there. They're going to build their own boat. And then they're actually going to, later on, they're going to actually do sea trials where they're going to actually see how well that boat moves and how much weight it can handle without sinking. So that's a really hands-on experience. We also are going to have some ROV challenges where they're going to get to operate an ROV and see how well they can go about picking up different objects within one of our test tanks that are there. And as I said, we're going to have different labs. We're going to have exhibits of different activities that they do, some showing some of the research hands-on. We're also going to have a few different discussions that are taking place. So we're going to have a panel at 11 a.m. that's going to have myself, Chancellor Strickland of Fletcher, President Clune of Nichols, and Captain Denning, who is the new Executive Director of the University of Louisiana's Maritime Academy that's being established. And so we're really trying to highlight the collaboration we have. We're in a unique area where we're in the middle of that Maritime Industrial Complex. We have this collaboration between a 2-year university, a 4-year university, and a research facility, all trying to come together around maritime workforce. And so we're going to talk about that and sort of the vision for how we grow out this campus and these activities in the region.
Well, and the really cool thing here is that we can have people that can come and really, you know, kids that want to learn a little bit more about what to do, want to check out some plankton, which is really neat to be able to see under a microscope, but also these opportunities for people to go, you know what, I love doing this kind of work. Maybe I want to learn how to do this. And we get to kind of share these options for maybe the future this maritime industry.
Yeah, and I think that's really one of the things that we try to do. I mean, we pride ourselves on having education programs that aren't just at the university level, even those universities are our name.
Right.
We like to refer to it as pre-K to gray.
Okay.
So we do things from early child education programs all the way through public engagement, because we all can learn more about this environment that we're in and the industry that we're part of. And so that's part of the idea, is to give people a chance. Most of these boats you don't get a chance to go on a regular basis. No. And so to be able to see the different types of things we do and the different types of activities that we use this fleet for is part of what we're trying to do with this activity.
Yeah, and there's some great shots, Jay. I appreciate this. Again, is the Pelican that's going to be out there. We also have the Acadiana that's going to be out there, and a lot of your smaller boats as well.
Yeah, we're going to have a series of our small boats there. You're going to actually be able to go and touch some of those small boats, and we're going to have some remotely operated vehicles that are there to be able to see. You have a chance to talk to the crew of these research vessels. The Pelican crew is going to be there on site as well. Trying to appeal to people that have all the different interests around the activities that we do.
Well, and if you're interested at all, you can head out there. It's called Meet the Fleet. It's going to take place on May 3rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at the Houma Maritime Campus, which is 335 Dixon Road right there in Houma. And again, really cool opportunity for kids from all ages. It's QR code right there. Be glad for you to go and get more information. They're going to have research vessel tours, so many different events. So I appreciate that. Doc, if you can stick around a little bit, we want to tell people some of the other things going on at LUMCON.
Happy to do so.
And so we'll do that when we come back, all right?
Sounds great.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. A whole lot more right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Hello, and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it very, very much. And want to welcome back to the show Dr. Brian J. Roberts, Executive Director and Chief Scientist over at LUMCON. Thanks for joining us once again.
Thanks for having me.
All right. I know we talked about Meet the Fleet. That's going to take place on May the 3rd. But, man, there's so much going on that you guys do at LUMCON, and I just don't think people realize all of the valuable options and the jewel that you guys are for Cocodrie and Houma.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I mean, we're really excited about the fact that we've opened this new facility in Houma on Dixon Road in December of 23. And, we've been gradually building up the new programs and offerings that we have at this facility. And I'm happy to have an opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the things we have going on this campus.
Okay, Jay, run through. We'll start with that first slide if you don't mind. So one of the things that's always challenging, Cocodrie is a great place to go and get this place-based experience for learning, going out in the marsh and doing everything, but it's a trek to get there. And right.
So you can't reach people the same way. And so having this campus that's in Houma, in the middle of the maritime industrial complex, is a great asset to our ability to expand our reach. We have a middle school that's a mile down the road and a high school that's only a mile further up the road. Right. And so we can have programs that we aren't able to have down in Cocodrie. And some of those that we launched this spring, we just launched a science semester, which is geared towards homeschool. The hardest thing about homeschool is usually science. You don't have the resources to do those sorts of things.
Right.
So all day on Tuesday, you get basically your science curriculum on site at that facility. We're also going to be able to do after school programs we're going to launch in the fall. And also in the summer, our camps that we have for K-12 students are usually residential. This allows us to actually do day camps. So people that can't necessarily stay away for the whole time, we can reach them through that capacity. It also allows us to do quite a bit more with public education and engagement, where we can have nighttime programs, we can have science talks. So we're really excited about the new ways that we can connect and educate all of our citizens.
Right, and that's on every level, from pre-K to whatever age.
Yes,
right?
that's the whole idea.
Okay, very cool. I like it. And you got two ways to do it, right? Two different campuses.
Yeah, and that's sort of the emphasis, that it's not a one size fits all. You're trying to figure out what's the right program for you that we can provide it through LUMCON. This campus, this building is the first step of the growth of this campus.
Right.
And we're excited about the collaboration we have with the community college system. Fletcher has a building right next door, right in the middle of that maritime complex, as I mentioned. This Meet the Fleet event is going to highlight the new boat slip that's been built there in the bulkhead area. We are about to put out for bid for a new marine operations center that's going to be coming on this site. And we will be signing the contract for the construction of the Pelican's replacement. The Pelican has served the Gulf and the state for over basically 40 years.
40 years.
That's a long time to be in service, and it's time to sort of replace that vessel. So there's a lot of new and exciting things happening that are going to take place at this campus, and we want to make this a campus and grow that with our partnership with the community college system, as well as Nichols and other partners.
Right. So really exciting about that. There's also so many opportunities for people to be able to do that in Cocodrie as well.
Yes, there are. I mean, we have, both of our facilities are open to the public. We also provide meeting spaces, which is something in this region it's difficult to have, a lot of different types of meeting spaces available. And we've already been using particularly our Houma facility for a lot of that. The advantage of Cocodrie is that we also have the residential capacity there where people can stay if you need to go together, and we have what we call a synthesis center that's designed on getting groups together to tackle challenges, whether they be scientific or community or anything that's a real challenge that you need to get people together and be able to work in those facilities. We have extensive education programs that take place and have been for a long time. Our education programs see about 4,000 to 5,000 K-12 students a year, which is hard to believe all the way down in Cocodrie you can get that many people.
Yeah.
But that's what we're looking for, to be able to reach some of those that we can't by having the campus up in Houma. But we're going to continue to do the programming that we do down in Cocodrie, and when possible, link students where they can actually experience both of those campuses. You can't compete with what you have in that surrounding, and the beauty of Cocodrie is that we're surrounded by the wetlands.
Right.
Our property, that's state property for the Marine Center in Cocodrie, as is shown in that picture right there. The marsh extends from Highway 56 to Houma Navigation Canal. That's all LUMCON property. So that's an important place for education as well as research that we provide for the community.
Yeah, and you guys have all these Marine Center programs and just really cool stuff that people can see.
Right, and we're trying to do things that also reaching people in different ways. We have something that just launched in December that's called the White Boot Explorers Club, which is something that you can get online, and you can go through different levels to try to learn about the coastal environment. Right. Obviously, we're all familiar with the white boots that are around this area, that we all do that, and that slide right there, thank you, shows it, and it has the link if you are interested in that program.
Okay.
And so that's, obviously geared towards students of all ages. Most of the students have been younger students that have been doing it, but we just launched this in December, and we're already having, a couple hundred students that have already started to get engaged in that process.
Right.
So
lots of really cool things. And so, Dr. Roberts, thanks for coming on and just letting us know what's going on both in Houma and in Cocodrie, and the fact that people can go and visit both. And we're educating at all different levels, and all the partnerships that y'all are doing is really bringing opportunities. So thanks so much for doing that.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, you got it. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment. We've got a whole lot more Bayou time, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right here on HTV.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System. Your partner is good health.